How you guys doing? Hey, backseat driver was the good word. Johnny's Comics RB3 take 2 indeed. Mighty Comics guy, how you doing? I think this is the first time I've seen your name. Welcome to the chat. Hope all is well with you. And then John's Comics with Kids. Good to see you, brother. Uh-oh, we may have an issue. Let's see if it gets straightened out here. We may have a streaming issue. So how many watch ring combinations do I have? A lot. So when you spend as much time in the gym as I do, you tend to buy a lot of those kind of setups. So the rings are actually a sponsor. Fixate Designs, they make these wonderful silicone rings that I like that come in a multitude of colors, multitude of designs, and they're cool because if you have a nice wedding band and you go to the gym, metal on metal is never a good thing. So this works out quite nicely, and if you smash it, you end up hurting your finger, but you don't smash the ring and all that good stuff. So yeah, and then I just have a lot of G-Shocks. I used to buy a lot of really expensive watches back in the day. I like to say that was a different version of Reggie at the time. I don't buy many expensive watches anymore. I still have a couple that I hang on to, but by and large, I only wear G-Shocks and the little silicone rings. So, old comic guy, how you doing? Welcome to the chat. Glad you made it. All right. You've seen 3, yeah. So my favorite setup is the white ring, white watch. I wear that like 90% of the time, just because it's pure lazy. 2, it's easy because it goes with anything. And I think most importantly, I just like the way that it looks. So I tend to wear that one a lot. And then I've just kind of been mixing it up a little bit, but I have pink, green, purple, yellow, orange, red. I mean, you name the color, I have the watch and probably have a ring that works with it. In fact, I even have a camo ring. I actually like camo a lot, so I wear a lot of camo. So anyway, I wanted to welcome you guys to the chat. Hopefully you guys are enjoying your Monday. I actually have it off. So I'm in between jobs. I start the new job coming up soon, but taking some time to hang out with the family and kind of rest before going into this next challenge. So I've had a lot of time on my hands to kind of do these chats, and I am definitely enjoying this. I own, so RB3 is asking about a very expensive designer watch. I actually do not own any, but I've owned Breguets, I've owned Panerais. I really like Panerai watches. And then I have watches from Vietnam. I have watches from World War II because I like history, so I tend to buy also older watches. I have several Hamiltons and things like that. But I stopped buying a lot of those watches back in the day. And just decided to do a couple of other things with that money. So today we're going to do a couple of cool things. We are going to unbox a Silver Age book that I picked up from someone off of Instagram, and I'll give him a shout out. We are going to hopefully talk about what many consider to be the next Amazing Fantasy 15, and a book that is believed to be hot on the trails of that book. So that might be an interesting discussion for us to get into. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about some new comic books. So my family actually left the house for a little bit today, so I had some time to myself and was able to spend some time reading. So my thought was to maybe jump into the new comics first, and then we jump into the unboxing, and then we'll have the discussion at the end. So I had a chance to read quite a few books when my family was away. So I just wanted to kind of recap those, because I know that a lot of you out there have budgets for new comics. I know that a lot of you have budgets overall. I know many people don't even read new comics because they just don't necessarily see, the value in it for whatever reason. So when I come across a book that's either good or bad, I like to highlight it for people to say, hey, I know you don't read new books, but you might want to check this one out. Or hey, you know what? If you have limited cash, don't buy this book because it sucks. So I want to spend a little bit of time kind of digging into some of those books. Maybe you guys have read these books, maybe you haven't, but we'll dig into it. So the first one that I checked out was Extermination #2. And I read #1, Extermination, and I thought it was really good. There were 2 X-Men that died or were killed. I won't tell you who because that would ruin it for you. But this one picked up hot on the trails of the first, and I think it was a pretty decent read. I cannot necessarily complain about it. It is a 5-part story arc that I think, if they don't get to the meat of it, will be stretched out too long. So my hope is that issue 3, we're gonna get into the meat of it, and then 4 and 5 will start to wrap things up. That's my hope. Issue 1 was solid, captured my attention. Issue 2 was okay, but if they go too long, it's gonna be a problem. So if you like X-Men, if you're looking forward to the new X-Men series coming back, you probably wanna check that book out. Comic book collection, welcome to the chat. This one is one that I thought was really cool. This is #5, Venom, and yeah, I'm playing catch up here. Venom #5, this one was really cool. And there's no surprise, so I won't spoil this for anybody. Venom has wings, let's put it that way. And there is a splash page in here where he is sporting a pair of wings, and it's really cool. So if you are a Venom fan, you probably want to check this one out because it's pretty darn good. So that was one that I do recommend. Another one that I recommend that I also thought was pretty good was Venom First Host. And I'm not going to ruin this for you guys, but this one's pretty cool. It was an unexpected. I didn't know what to expect. I was just reading the book, and then when the surprise happened, I was like, check that out. That's pretty cool. So this also is a 5-part story arc that I plan to read because I think that it's interesting. It'll be interesting to see where it goes, but where it starts is pretty darn solid. So again, if you're a Venom fan, you might want to check this one out as well. Blade Runner, welcome to the chat. Backseat Driver, you are correct, sir. The new Venom is nice. That's why I went back out and picked up, what was it, 1 and 3 or something that I showed you guys in the chat yesterday. But this was, what was this, 4 or 5? This is 5, and this one's pretty good. It is a good read. In fact, I saw something flash across my screen earlier today. I didn't get a chance to read into it, but I think it said Donny Cates and some artist, I can't remember, is actually taking over a new title. So Donny Cates is definitely getting a lot of attention and a lot of notoriety for the work that he's doing. Amazing Spider-Man #4. You guys knew I was hot and heavy on #2, I think it was. #4, not so much. This was kind of a throwaway issue, in my opinion. The Tri-Sentinel was pretty cool. The artwork, I think, was pretty solid. Ryan Ottley does a really good job. But as far as the story from Spencer, I think it's Nick Spencer, this one was a little boring. I would skip this one if you guys, you know, if you have some other things to spend your money on, I would spend your money elsewhere, not with this. Then I picked up, Cates just signed a 4-year deal with Marvel. Very nice. I'm glad they locked him down. That was a good move on their part. I picked up X-23, #3. This one was an okay read. Nothing spectacular here. I think people are kind of in love with this cover. It's okay. I prefer a little bit of a sharper, cleaner cover that's a little bit more engaging. This one's a little soft, especially for X-23 and Wolverine. I don't know about this. But it was an okay read. Nothing really special here in my mind. So again, one that you may want to skip. Same can be said for Avengers #6, and you guys know I was hot and heavy with some of the earlier Avengers books because of where they were going and how they were rewriting the history of the MCU, which I thought was really well done. This one, Ed McGuinness's artwork, I think, was pretty sharp because I like him as an artist. But there were, in my opinion, in the way that they were telling the story, I think your mind is supposed to fill in the galley, right? Between panel to panel, the white space, the galley or whatever that thing is called, the gutter. Your mind's supposed to fill in like what happens between that. And that didn't happen here, where they went like from the start of a battle to like declaring victory from one page to the next. I'm like, what the heck happened, right? My mind can't fill in that many details. And maybe I'm not smart enough. I don't know. I did not necessarily enjoy this one. The art was cool. The story, a little lacking. And then the last one that I read that you can also, I think, dismiss by and large is X-Men Red #7. I know people are kind of hot and heavy over the cover for this one. The story I thought was a little bit of a waste, a little disjointed. I did not enjoy it, which is a surprise because I like X-Men Red, but that's one that I would also skip. And then the last one, oh, well, technically I said that the last one was the last one, but this is the last one. This one was really cool. This is the Fantastic Four #1. This is a reprint of the original, ads included. And then there's also some wonderful bonus material at the very back of it, which includes like some words from Stan Lee and some others. So if you haven't picked this one up, this one's pretty cool to have in your collection. I picked up a single copy because I thought it was pretty neat. And hopefully maybe one day we will replace this thing with the real thing. So let me get caught up here in the chat. RB3 is saying Kate's is the man. I would agree. Ben, welcome to the chat, brothers. Good to see you. Backseat Driver is saying that Kate's is on the new Marvel Knights. I don't know. It was, you know, your phone, if you have an iPhone, it kind of gives you a summary of what a message is or an email or whatever it is. I saw that pop up but didn't read it. So I honestly don't know. I just know that I saw Donny Cates and another artist taking over something. So Don Von Chilla, a legend, is in the house. How you doing, brother? Welcome to the chat. It's good to see you. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it. If you haven't seen Dr. Von Chilla's stuff, he's very cool. He is an interesting character that I enjoy watching. All right, so let's unbox a book. So this is a Silver Age book that I picked up. It is marked Fragile on the front. The seller put a Fragile sticker on here, which I think is really cool. But then you can see that UPS did its standard work with the box, not necessarily taking any precautions with this thing, but hopefully what's inside arrived nice and safe. So we'll go ahead and crack this thing open. Ryan, the comic kid, is saying that he picked up the the Fantastic Four #1 reprint. I'm not a fan, generally speaking, of reprints, but I thought that was a pretty cool one. So definitely a good choice, at least in my mind, for picking up. So, and I know a lot of people have picked it up, so I think it's definitely a good move. And it's I actually enjoy reading the real copy on Marvel Unlimited. So when I had the chance to get the reprint, I was like, why not? So he did the right thing here. We have a box within a box with a little bit of bubble wrap. That is well done. I salute you, sir, for that. Tracy, welcome to the chat. You are hilarious. Yeah, it was actually a different mail person this time because I didn't think I was getting any mail today because it being a holiday. But sure enough, it was not my regular mail lady, and she was a little bit more spry than my regular mail lady. Actually spoke actual words and everything to me. It was fascinating. Like I forced my mail lady to speak to me just because she doesn't want to. So I get a kick out of that. Maybe that's why my packages get mailed banged up. Who knows? But yeah, this mail lady had a spring to her step, so she had no problem ascending the stairs to the house. All right, let's get caught up here. Oh, there you go. John's Comic with Kids is saying that Cates and Shaw are doing Guardians of the Galaxy. There you go. I knew it was some alert that came out and I just missed it. Are they rebooting Guardians of the Galaxy? I'm guessing they're starting over with #1 and these guys are going to take it over. Oh, it's still a ways off. I wonder how many titles can one writer do at a time, right? How many is he doing right now? All right, so my first look at this book, it's pretty cool. This is pretty cool. So I say this all the time. I always operate on themes by and large, right? Because I find this zone and I kind of sit in that zone for a little bit until I find something else to go on to. No, it is not another ASM1. You never know when another one of those is going to show up. So Santiago is saying, he's gonna do it after Cosmic Ghost Rider ends. There you go. So I guess Cosmic Ghost Rider is not a long-term play. How long is the story arc going to go for Cosmic Ghost Rider? And then Santiago is saying right now he has about 6 titles. Wow, must be nice. So this one is one that I picked up. As you guys know, I've been on a kick of sorts with Fantastic Four and the Submariner, right? I've been kind of living in that zone. So I was on, a guy reached out to me on Instagram and said, hey, I watch your channel. I love your content. I have a couple of books. Is there some interest? I took a look and I was like, yes, there is some interest. Specifically in Fantastic Four number 14. This is a really cool book featuring the Submariner. This is the second appearance of the Puppet Master. But this is a really cool book that was interesting. This is the one that I was actually reading the very next day. Like you guys know, I've been reading the Fantastic Four from the very beginning. And so right before I was about to read this, the guy reached out to me and I saw this book and I was like, yes, I will take the book. And then that night I actually read it. This is where the Puppet Master actually takes over and creates a puppet using his radioactive clay and made a mold or puppet of the Submariner, took the Submariner over and then had him kidnap Sue, put her in danger so that he could defeat the Fantastic Four. So it didn't work, clearly, because the Puppet Master is like the worst. But it was a plan nevertheless. So as I'm looking at this book, it came back from the guy as a 4 off-white pages. But what I'm noticing is that I don't think that this book was pressed, because I see a little bit of a crease down the middle and a little bit of tape on the side. There's a couple of creases here that I think could easily come out with a press and maybe even some cleaning on the back side of this thing. So I think that there's definitely room for improvement with this if I ever decided to do something with it. But it is a really cool book that I'm pleased to have. The colors are wonderful on this thing. And I want to say that this is the lowest numbered Fantastic Four that I have in my collection. But this is really cool. So the guy that I got it from, if you guys want to check him out, it is Tomorrow's Gems on Instagram. Tomorrow's with an S, Gems, plural, all one word. Check him out on Instagram. He's got a couple of other really cool books up there. This is by far the coolest, and it's mine, so you can't have it. But he has some cool stuff up there. He promises me that he's going to be getting some extra stuff. So reach out to him, Tomorrow's Gems, if you're interested, and see if there's something there for you. All right, so let me get caught up real quick on the chat here. RB3, thank you, brother. Thank you, Thomas. I appreciate it. First new sidebar issue of 63, February. Hold on, first new sidebar issue. Oh, you lost me on that one. Ben's always dropping knowledge on me, just messing up my flow. You got to break that one down for me. Ben is saying Tech 31 Kid. Ben's a good guy. He's calling it Bubble Butt Submariner. Yeah, he's got a little junk in his trunk. He might need to do some more squats though, because his legs are looking a little thin. But he does have some cake back there. So Old Man Comics guy is saying he wondered what the Donny Cates team will consist of with the James Gunn drama. Maybe Marvel might be prepping us for a new team of comics and the movies. Who knows? Who knows, brother? It could be interesting. Donny Cates is definitely the man right now. You know, he is definitely the man. So who knows? The problem is that in my head, if they pull him off of comics and he goes to movies, that's going to suck up all of his time. You know, so who knows what could happen? Is like Josh Whedon? Is he writing anything right now? Right? Josh Whedon he did really great on the X-Men back in the day, but now he's doing. I think he did like the Avengers movies, and then I think he's also doing Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Is he even writing any Marvel books right now? I'm curious, and you guys know a lot better than I do. So Tracy, great cover. You are right. And it's only a 4. You are right, and I think that's because this thing wasn't pressed. And I can clearly see several non-color breaking defects in the front cover of this book that could easily be fixed with a solid press. I mean, there's at least eight or 9 areas on this front cover that could be fixed. Some minor tears, there's some tape there, but I think you could easily make some magic with that book. So that's a fair point. Oh man, wouldn't be surprised. Ryan is the best. Let's get caught up here. Javier. So Javier Gonzalez, I think that's how you say it. Javier is tomorrow's gems. So holler at Javier. He's got some great stuff over there. I could not be more pleased with this book at this grade than, you know, it is a wonderful book. And I think there's wonderful potential in the book if I ever decide to crack the case. But honestly, it's perfect as it is. So thank you, Javier. I appreciate it, brother. Comics with Bueller. How you doing, brother? Welcome to the chat. Thank you for joining us. All right, happy Labor Day, people from JoJo's. Jojo, I don't think I've ever seen your name before. Welcome to the chat. Eddie, the comics guy, we've been going back and forth a little bit over messages on the channel, so thank you for watching those videos. I think I went to sleep reading one of your messages last night. Comic Book Ninja, welcome to the chat. So you guys have not missed a whole lot, and as you guys know, if you've ever joined one of my live chats, I always recap towards the end, so you won't miss too much of anything. So one of the things that I've been discussing with a lot of people, and it's happened live on chat, it's also happened in various messages on Instagram that I've had with folks. And if you look at what's happening with this book right here, it is truly incredible what is happening with Hulk 181. The prices on this book are just crazy. And I have two of them. This is the first one that I bought. This is the 5.0 signature series that I picked up before boarding a plane to fly out for some work. And this is a really cool book. And then I have an 8.5 on the wall behind me, but the prices for this book are just insane. And I want to say that there's 8,000 to 10,000 of these books on the census. The price keeps going up. I think some people have told me, because I kind of glanced at a couple of things, that they've almost like doubled at various grades. The prices have gone up. I think there was a record set the other day. I think I saw something. It was like the most for like a 9.0. I mean, it is crazy what's happening with this book, and everyone keeps saying, you know, where's the sky? How high is it going to go? Is it going to flatten out? Is it going to come back down? And the challenge with this book is that it's Wolverine, right? It's Wolverine, and he is one of the most, if not the most popular character in all of Marvel. And Hugh Jackman has done an amazing job of like helping to bolster Wolverine's reputation by starring in all the movies that he starred in and doing an incredible job of it. And who knows what the future holds, right? Everyone is anticipating the mutants coming into the MCU. If that happens, you better believe that Hugh Jackman or whoever plays Wolverine will be front and center in that. And that's only going to expose Wolverine to an even broader cast of characters than he's had access to before. And so you could make the argument that the sky is the limit when it comes to this book and what's going to happen. And it's one of those things that you automatically think that scarcity plays into the price, and scarcity affects the value of the book. And I don't know if that's the case with what's happening with 181. And so there are some unexplainable things that are happening there. But on that same token, there are some unexplainable things happening with another book that's on that wall back there, and that I have another copy of. This book. And there is a little bit of speculation that this book will follow in much the same path as Hulk 181. That's not to say that the Silver Surfer is as popular as Wolverine, because he certainly isn't. But if you think about it, when was the last time you saw a kid dressed up as the Silver Surfer? Or you saw, really for that matter, any kind of kid's toy that was related to the Silver Surfer, or even the Fantastic Four? Do kids even know who the Thing is? You know what I'm saying? But if you think about it, everybody knows who Wolverine and Spider-Man are. Every kid dresses up as them at some point. They have the PJs or the toothbrush or the diapers or whatever it is featuring, Spider-Man, right? Sometimes even featuring Wolverine. I've seen kids walk around with those big mitts on as the Incredible Hulk, but you've never seen that for like the Thing or the Silver Surfer or Mr. Fantastic. And so the question is, once the whole merger thing goes through and they try to introduce Silver Surfer and these characters to the MCU, what kind of marketing power will be put behind these characters? And if Disney knows how to do one thing, it is market and market really well. And if they do that, then you could very well see this book and Hulk 181 also increase in value. So it could be interesting. So I'm curious what you guys think about some of this stuff. I'm gonna catch up with the chat here and see where we are. I probably should have slowed this thing down here. So 8.5 value now, $3 or something. Yeah, I want to say somebody reached out to me and said like an 8.5 is like over 3,000, but somebody I'm sure out there can pull it up and go collect a lot faster than I will be able to remember. So Jeffrey is saying that a 9.8 sold for $24,000 as a Hulk 181, which is crazy. That is crazy. And it's like, I don't think, that it seems like it happened overnight, right? It seems like when I bought my books, I don't know, 8 months ago or so, I felt like that was really high. And I don't think that it's really comparable right now. So Comic Book Ninja is basically saying he heard somewhere that there's a lot of foreign investment in American comics because of the movies. So one of the other things that I've heard, Comic Book Ninja, is that a lot of guys are actually, and I don't know if it was foreign or not, but let's just say people. People are forming investment groups. That's what I hear. Forming investing groups and investing in Silver Age comics. And it could be very well tied to what you're describing right now. And that's part of the reason why the prices are going up. Because the rate of return, and RB3 can probably speak to this a whole lot better than I could. There could be a lot of that investment that is propping up what's happening with the prices that we're seeing. And RB3 I see his comment here, he's saying that it's demand, but there's also a lot of speculation for 181. And the question is, even if the speculation dies down, right, the demand will still be there. And, the big thing is, would prices ever fall back to the pre-speculation period? And my guess is that they wouldn't. My guess is that they might go down and then stabilize because the demand may prop it up. But I don't know. Only time will tell what kind of happens with that. So Comic Book Ninja is saying he thinks the upper limit, I think it's around 5K. Oh, so he's saying 5K for an 8.5. Ben is saying 8.5 is 45 to 5K. That is crazy. That really is crazy. And I would agree, Comic Book Ninja, that FF48 has also been undervalued for years until recently. And that's one of the things, I kick myself in many ways because I don't know about you guys, but I was out of comics for a very, very long time. And I wish that I had not been out for as long as I had been, because there was a lot of wonderful books that could have been picked up. And Ben is a golden age guy. He keeps trying to get me to go to that dark side, but he says, give me 24K in golden age. So I think RB3 might agree with that. I don't know. But yeah, the prices are really crazy. And I've had people say to me like, it's a really bad copy of 181. Should I buy it? And it's like, I don't know. I struggle telling people, what to do, because I don't know if I would get in at those prices. I consider myself lucky to have gotten in when I did. And I consider myself thankful that I got in when I did. And I struggle with some of the prices of some of these books, to be honest with you. I really do struggle. Ben is saying that there's a lot of interest groups, lots of non-comic book fans coming into the market. I would agree that are pushing up the prices. I would definitely agree with that. Big Will, you are on the wrong channel, my friend. We don't talk about DC here. But Ben is saying that the new Teen Titans could be the next Fantastic Four for 48. I can't comment to that. I don't know a thing about the Teen Titans. I'm gonna be honest with you. And then Eddie, the comic book guy, saying he only got into comics about 3 years ago. Yeah, man. I started collecting back in the 90s, you know, back when there was a lot of speculation, you know, back when, you know, people were talking about X-Force and Young Bloods and Spawn and all this stuff you would be able to retire on, you know. So, yeah, I got in maybe at the wrong time, good time, who knows. It's not a spec book anymore. Wolverine has solidified himself. Yeah. I mean, it's a good point. It's a good point. I mean, it's like you could see the prices potentially come down on 181, but I don't know if they're going to drop the way that they have. I mean, there's a lot of discussion even about guys talking about Amazing Fantasy versus Amazing Spider-Man #1, right? Amazing Fantasy, you know, I had some people say to me, you can see like lots of that book if you go to a con. But then you look for Amazing Spider-Man #1 and you don't see as many. And I don't know if that's true or not. I've never really checked the census on either book, but maybe there's something to that. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. But I can tell you for a fact that ASM 1, X-Men 1, all of those books are really starting to climb. So Reggie Simmons with 2 G's, brother, I'm going to tell you right now, you freak people out. I'm going to tell you that right now. I can't tell you how many people have sent me messages with screen grabs where you followed them and they thought it was me with 2 G's and they were like, check this other person out. So you followed me and I had to go look at your profile because I was like, Reggie Simmons. But welcome to the chat, brother. I think this is the first time that you've been able to join, so welcome to you. Love the name, love the name. I'm losing the chat here. It's a tough time to buy at these prices in the last 6 years. I still see Avengers #1 as a very good as, yeah, and that's, Ben's making a really good point. I mean, that's one of the things that I have not been around the game as long as Ben has. He's been around for quite some time. But there are some books that I look at and I'm just like, I can't pay that much for a book. A buddy of mine, and I won't use his name, he sold a book. It was Amazing Spider-Man, I think it was 301, for a nice chunk of money. And I could never see myself spending that much money for that book, right? Because I bought that book off the rack. I could never spend that much money for that book. And if that book ever became, not that it would, but if it became a $5,000 book, $10,000 book, I'd be like, for what? The book costs $125, you know? So Ben, I definitely get your point. So Comic Book Brigade is saying that Comic Link sold a CGC 9.0 Fantastic Four #1 for $165,000. Whew, brother, I just want to hold that book. I just want to hold that book in my hands for a couple of minutes, you know? Years ago, I had this major milestone in my life and I went to New York and I went to the Tourneau store. I think it was like 45th Street, 46, something like that. And it's a big Tourneau. And I went in there and I bought myself a really nice watch. Nice chunk of money for this watch. And while I was there, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try on something that I will never, ever own. I tried on a $325,000 rose gold rubber strap watch. I can't even remember who made the watch. Maybe it was Humboldt. I don't even know if that's how you say it, but it could have been Humboldt. $325,000 rose gold. I wasn't as big then. And this watch was heavy. This thing had to weigh like 5 pounds, probably more like 3, but it was a heavy watch. And I'm like, somewhere in the country, in a lot of parts of the country, this watch buys a house. And so that was really cool to try on. I think there was also a $1 million watch that they had in a case that I was able to see while I was there. But it was a really, really wonderful experience for me because I will never own that kind of watch ever in my life. If I have $325,000, I'm gonna tell you, there's a lot of stuff I'm gonna do. Buying a watch is not one of those things. So you guys are making some really good points here. Yeah, people have boxes with 50 copies of the same book. Yeah, man. Yes. Brother, Ben, I have an entire shed full of really good gym equipment with my face on it. I don't know if you guys know this, but my wife and I actually own a fitness company. That's not what we do for careers. It's just something that we do for fun. But yeah, I am not buying $325,000 worth of my own equipment. You know, that it doesn't cost that much. Let me tell you. There is nothing that justifies a watch that expensive other than a status symbol. I couldn't even tell you what the time was on the watch, and it was not an Invicta. You guys are hilarious. Yeah, it is a Humboldt. It was gorgeous. It was a black-faced watch, rose gold bezel, and it had like a super thick rubber strap that was like impossible to close because it was so robust, and of course brand new, right? So the thing didn't really bend that well at all. But yeah, Ben is making the point here that there's a lot, and I think who is it? Somebody else was commenting about a lot of guys like hoarding books right now. There is definitely a lot of that right now, you know. So do you guys think that there is the potential for Fantastic Four 48 to be the next Hulk 181? Like, is there the belief that there is enough in the Fantastic Four book to warrant it reaching that level, right? So you got to think, you know, Disney has a lot of marketing prowess behind it, right? The Silver Surfer is a sexy character, right? Not maybe as sexy as Wolverine, but it definitely is a sexy character, and if done right, it might be pretty nice to see on a screen. So I'm just curious what you guys think, whether there is the potential for that book to kind of go that route, given that it's undervalued, given what's happening in the market right now, to Ben's point, not just this year, but the last 6 years, what's happening. So RB3 is saying that there is not enough Silver Surfer fans compared to the Hulk. Well, yeah, that's... are there Hulk fans out there? I don't know. Tell me. Maybe there are Hulk fans. I mean, everyone knows the Hulk, right? Lou Ferrigno. Yeah, you might be right. You might be right. So, oh, by Wolverine. Okay, all right. Jeffrey, my bad. My bad, brother. My intent is not to offend anyone. So Comic Book Ninja is basically saying that the Silver Surfer needs a good movie and a new comic book series right now. Yeah, you could be right about that. And JD is making the point. Remember Galactus. Yeah, I've not forgotten about Galactus's appearance or his cameo in that book. So again, there may be something there, and people are already saying that Galactus is already in the MCU. I don't know if you guys have seen the video that's been floating around where someone is making the case for why Galactus is already in the MCU. So it's kind of interesting to see whether that'll be true or not. And there's no doubt, JD, that Fantastic Four 48 is a key. There's no doubt about that, you know. But it's going to be interesting. There's a lot of speculation about that book, but there's a lot of speculation about a lot of things right now. So only time will tell. Again, for me, I think it's just fun to have these kinds of discussions to be able to figure some of this stuff out. So, all right, so let's do a quick recap and then we will get ourselves out of here. I'm going to run through the new books first, like I did when we originally started the chat, and then we'll kind of wrap around. Tracy's making a point here that maybe Donny Cates will get the new Silver Surfer title. Maybe, because Donny Cates is writing everything right now, and anything that man touches seems to be pretty darn hot. So it'll be interesting to see, you know. I don't know if I ever saw the answer about how long the Cosmic Ghost Rider was going to go on. If anybody knows that, I'm curious. But the Cosmic Ghost Rider, like that last issue that came out, was really disappointing. The story was okay. The artwork was just not very good. And it just did not work for me. It did not work for me at all. So I don't know. Maybe to someone's point is that it's not a story arc that will go on for a very long time, you know? Comic Book Ninja is making the point that the Silver Surfer was Stan Lee's favorite character to write. He continued to write the stories into the 2000s. Wow, I didn't realize that. I didn't realize that. Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. Donny Cates was in London today. Daz, the Key Chaser from UK. How you doing, brother? It's good to see you. Never stop collecting. You are extremely late. You are in the recap section, which is the very end of the chat, but we are happy to have you because we are going to do the recap right now, so you would not have missed anything except for maybe a little bit of commentary along the way. So he has a story arc waiting for Silver Surfer, how he became worthy. Oh, who? Donny Cates has that? Are you saying Donny Cates has that that story arc for the Silver Surfer? Because I think everyone wants to know how he became worthy and was able to actually pick up the Thor's hammer. That'd be cool to read, I think. I like the Hulk, but as in the comics, he was never had strong villains. Yeah, I would agree. So Ben Tech 31 Kid is making the point here that the Hulk never really had strong villains. I mean, he had a couple, but I don't know. I don't know if they really truly posed a challenge to him, you know? So Reg can pick up that hammer. Brother, I don't think I'm that worthy, let me tell you. So the first book, I'm gonna do the new books first. I picked up Extermination. This is a pretty good read if you like the X-Men. If you're excited about where the X-Men new series is gonna start up from, this is a good read to pick up. 5-part story arc. Number 2 is pretty good. Number 1 was solid. Hopefully number 3 will be even better. My pick, if I had to make a pick, would probably be this Venom number 5. Great story. Solid artwork. Venom has wings. Enough said with that one. This Venom First Host was it was a fun read. This one had a surprise in it. I'm not going to tell you what the surprise is because if you want to read it, you don't want me to mess it up for you. But this was a nice surprise that I really enjoyed, and I'm looking forward to reading this 5-part story arc. This is where they start to kind of not go well. This was an okay issue of Spider-Man number 4. Amazing Spider-Man number 2 was fantastic. Number 4, not so much. Number 3 of X-Men 23, it's an okay read. You could skip it if budget becomes a problem. Same thing with Avengers number 6. I would skip this one. The artwork was solid. The story, a little lacking. And then the same with X-Men Red. I would completely skip this altogether. And I actually like X-Men Red. It's not worth it. It's really not. This is another pick, Fantastic Four number 1. Nostalgia, some of the reasons that we've been citing, the Fantastic Four are fantastic. And there's actually a section in the back. I want to say it's a 2-page spread where they actually show various artists' interpretation of this front cover. It's really cool. It really is. Let's just say that there's some X-Men stuff and there's also some pig action. P-I-G, pig action. Check it out. Definitely a cool issue. All right, so let me look at this. So Daz the Key Chaser picked up the Fantastic Four number 1 reprint. It is definitely cool. Web of Venom. What is that? Tracy's talking about wanted the first Host Venom variant, but it showed. I don't know that I've seen the first Host variant. When I went to the shop, I didn't see that one, but the first Host read was pretty good. Daz picked up Extermination. That I thought that was really good. I enjoyed that one. And Tracy very good with the willpower. So the book that we unboxed today was a little bit of some Silver Age goodness from 1963. It is a Stan Lee story, Jack Kirby and Dick Ayers art. And it features, as someone in the chat called Bubble Butt Submariner, this is the second appearance of a puppet master. This is a really fun read. I enjoyed this book. I think the cover is just gorgeous. The relationship between Sue and Submariner is interesting to say the least. I mean, I guess it's between Mr. Fantastic, Submariner, and Sue. She just needs to make up her mind what man she wants. I personally think she may have picked the wrong guy. I'm gonna just put that out there. And then we had a wonderful discussion. If you want to go back and watch this, we had a wonderful little discussion with lots of points that were being made around Hulk 181 and what's happening with the prices of this particular book and the rationale behind it. But then also talking a little bit about Fantastic Four 48 and its potential to essentially be the new Hulk 181. So if you're interested in that chat, I would definitely encourage you to go back and watch the replay because I thought it was interesting. I learned a little and I'm probably going to go back and read the chat notes myself because there's things that I probably missed. So let me get caught up here. RB3 is saying his 3rd week without a new book or pull box, no withdrawals. So RB3, brother, I'm going to be honest with you. I sat the other day and pontificated whether I wanted to continue reading new books. I really sat there for a while and just kind of thought about, is it even worth it, right? Because I have one shop that I go to that gets my backup copies, right? Because I don't go there that often. So they get a lot of books for me. Well, not a lot. They get a couple of books for me. because if something big happens in a book, I want to make sure I have a backup copy. And out here, a lot of shops won't let you take multiple copies. And so I kind of spread the wealth out a little bit to make sure that if something big happens, I have a relationship with multiple shops to be able to back me up. And, you know, I was thinking, I was like, should I just get rid of all my pull boxes and just not read new books? I haven't landed on that yet because I'm still kind of enjoying a lot of the stuff that I'm reading. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Need more of M in the daytime. What's that? I missed the point. So Daz is basically saying he thought the same thing about new books. I mean, there's still a lot of really good stuff that happens in the new books, you know. So I don't want to miss out on some cool stuff. And for me, it's not even really about chasing the money so much as just enjoying like the good writing that's taking place right now. Like Donnie Cates is a solid writer, right? Ryan Otley, Mark Bagley did The First Host. I mean, there's some good art that is, you know, being put out there, some good stories that are being created. And it's like, I don't want to miss some of that stuff. You know, I don't know if Bagley did this cover. I don't really care for the cover of this one, but some of the interior panels for this, I think were very much in his style because I'm a big fan of Mark Bagley. So Ben is making the point here that as you buy more silver and gold, you can ease up with the new books. I've definitely started to ease up with the new books, brother. Because when I first jumped back into this thing, I can tell you, I was buying everything. I was buying all the variants that came out when I first came back, and I've come back on that stuff tremendously. I will get in and out of a comic shop for like a couple of bucks just because I will, even if it's on my pull list, if the book doesn't look interesting or I haven't heard like this is a good book, I won't even take it, to be honest with you. So I've cut back tremendously, and I've really been focusing a lot more on some of the older books. I have never RB3 picked up an omnibus or a trade paperback. I've not done any of that because I'll read a lot of the older stuff right on my my iPad. And for me, it doesn't take up any space. I can read it, you know, as I'm getting into bed at night because I do a lot of reading, like, you know, to kind of relax in the evenings before bed. So, oh no, we got to end the chat. Chris just got here. Everybody go hide. Chris, how you doing, brother? It is good to see you. I respectfully waited until your chat was over earlier today before beginning my own. I gave your live stream plenty of space to make sure that I didn't step on any toes. Chris from We Love Comics is a good buddy. I love this guy. Wicked sense of humor. All right, so one thing that I do want to announce, because Chris just got here, so it's a perfect segue. We probably today, if not today, tomorrow, will hit a very important milestone for my channel. Over the last 8 months or however long I've been doing these videos, my channel has grown tremendously, but certainly not as rapidly as some people's channels. But like many of you, I am choosing to focus not on quantity, but the quality. The quality of those of you that come to the channel, the quality of the discussions and engagements that we have, I think are fantastic. And I personally think that an expression of that quality is how much time folks spend watching my videos. We are on the verge, either later today or tomorrow, of exceeding 4,000 watch hours on YouTube, that's a huge milestone for any YouTuber. It is a huge milestone. There are two. There are the 4,000 watch hours that a lot of people are striving for, and the other is 1,000 subscribers. We are a little short on the 1,000 subscribers, but again, there are 800 plus of you that have been with me for a while, that watch the videos, that comment on the videos, that give the videos a thumbs up. And I want to say thank you to each and every one of you who are watching this live. And thank you to each one of you that is watching this thing on replay. I have a ton of fun doing this because it allows me to take what could be a very lonely hobby, and it allows me to at least have a little bit of a kind of sort of two-way dialogue with folks that love these books as much as I do. And the great thing about it is that people have said that I've taught them things, right? That they've gone out and bought books that I've recommended. But in that same vein, I learn a lot from you guys, and I also go out and spend money because of the videos that you guys produce and the comments and recommendations that you guys make to me. In fact, there's one of you in this chat that gave me a huge learning lesson last night on original art. And I just wanted to take this moment to say thank you guys for sticking with me through this. It has definitely been a fun journey, and thankfully it is not close to being over. All right, so I'm going to get myself out of here. Chris, you never fail to make me laugh, my friend. Chris says that I suck at playing the harmonica. You are correct, sir, but here's the thing. The takeaway is that I am a man of my word, and I played that daggone harmonica because I had an agreement with somebody, and I always follow through. So thank you guys. More cowbell indeed. Thank you guys for joining me, and I hope that if you have the day off that you enjoy the rest of your day off, and if you're working, I am sorry to hear that. Take care, guys.